Hello, listeners. We're back, and this is going to be on tents. So today's podcast is on tents. Now, to briefly... Well, actually, what I'm going to start with first, we've been... What?
We forgot to introduce ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Who am I? Who are you?
What
am I doing here?
He's Stephen.
And he's Thomas.
And we're back.
Once again.
Yeah.
Like the Renegade Master.
Yeah. So today, as Stephen said, we're going to talk about tents. And the various points on tents we're going to talk about are...
The different makes of tents.
What do we use them for?
The size ranges of these tents.
The prices.
The difference between the cheap and the expensive ones.
What's the problem with tents bought off eBay rather than a shop?
Yeah. What are the features that you should see on your tents that you buy?
And also we're going to talk about the difference between silver line tents and white line tents.
And then also I think it'd be good to talk about like your material thickness, the lining quality and the zipper quality, which is my favourite point to point out in tents.
Then we're going to conclude it all on the tents and our opinion on which tents what and why, which is the best and what not, basically.
So, a nice bit of structure to this one, isn't it?
Yeah, we're getting there. We are getting a bit professionals, yeah.
The last few podcasts we've done over the last few months have been heavily interviews with different manufacturers of nutrients, of fans filters. We were big at the Coventry show, which was a massive success. But now myself and Thomas had a chat, and it's time to get into the nitty-gritty.
And do some education stuff for our customers, because that's what we care about as our customers. Yeah. And to make sure that they understand everything about. So, you know, in all fairness, I know NPK, we would like to have every customer who listens to us come to our shop, but I know that's not the case. So we're not just thinking, oh, okay, you don't shop at our store, so don't listen. No, please do listen. And then it also gives you a wider variety of knowledge. So then when you do go to a shop and you can think, well, NPK said this about this tent and that tent, and you can compare yourself, and it'll just help you educate yourself and make some good decisions in the future. So just basically just to help you out. That's all this is about now.
Yeah. We record on Wednesdays, so for the people that are listening, such as the wholesalers, and I know you guys are listening to what we're saying, if you want to get involved in the podcasts, you've got any new products that you'd like us to chat about, we do this on Wednesdays. You can get in touch via email if you want to get in.
So, you can come to the studio, which is the NPK Live studio, and that's based in the NPK Superstore in Morton on the Wirral. That's CH46 1DW. And you can contact us on any of the landlines, email, Twitter, anything you want. So if you do want to come and do an interview with us, any of the distributors or new products, or anybody who wants to come and talk about growing, you know, whoever it may be, you know, let us know.
Get involved.
Yeah.
I also want to give you a heads up. Obviously, you know, today's episode is going to be on tents, but this is going to be released. So we record on Wednesday, but it's going to be released at 12 o'clock every Sunday. And we're going to make a real strive to get these released on a specific day at a specific time, so you could, if you're interested in listening to us, you've got a day there that you know that we're released.
Well, we're putting ourselves into a right position here, aren't we, Steve?
But it gets us to do them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So next week we'll be talking about growing media, such as your cocoa, your soil, and deep hydroponics. Nutrients. Then the week after that, we're going to do nutrients and price comparisons. This was because in Garden Culture's latest article, we did a lot of research onto nutrients and the pricing of different nutrients, and does it really matter the cost of a nutrient? So we'll be talking about that. After that, the week after that, we'll be talking about humidity, then bulbs, ballasts and shades, CO2 supplementation. Then we'll be talking about the root zone, and moving on to Thomas's favourite, pest and disease, which he's been begging me to do for weeks and weeks.
To be honest, I'm a bit gutted that that's one of the last ones. I'm really excited about doing pest and disease.
Well, we can move that forward, couldn't we?
I think we might do, because I think that's a really, really crucial one to our customers, and I really want to talk about that, because you know how I love killing all these little pesties and beasties and getting rid of them. I like to discover what they are and how to eradicate them.
Ooh, big word. Okay, let's get to the point.
Yeah,
tents. The different makes of tents.
Okay, so we've got a few different names on the market.
Yeah, we can go through some of them. Some of them you use, some of them you may know, some of them you don't know. We have BudBox, Gorilla. Now, there's two Gorillas. There's the US Gorilla, and then there's the UK Gorilla tents that you can get.
The UK Gorilla is a budget line.
Yeah, budget line tent.
Yeah.
Your Secret Gardens, your Bloom Rooms, Green Cubes, Mammoth, Homebox, Lighthouse, Roof Cube. and then you've got all the different sizes. So there's a wide variety of tents.
Oh, there's easy, or probably, would you say?
What, 20 to 30 different tents? What do you reckon, more?
Definitely.
Yeah, because then there's all the brands that you get off internet, which are no-named brands.
Oh, if you got into the internet, you go into thousands of different types of makes that are imported from China, Vietnam, and whatnot. But the most prominent ones that you've mentioned, there's still quite a lot. And then when you think about them in all different sizes, different styles, it could be a mess to think of which one are you going to start with. But it also depends on you yourself, your budget, what you need it for, what you like out of a product. I don't think every person could buy the same tent, because every person always likes their own individual things, and that's what we're about. Yeah. We don't want to sell you a green room if you want a secret garden. If you want a secret garden, come and get a secret garden. If you don't know what tent you want, come to the superstore and have a look. We've got a few set up. We haven't got all of that many, because
they take up quite a bit of space.
But we have got a green room,
we've got BudBoxes, secret gardens,
clone lab,
a wide variety,
and we've got some budget ones in also as well.
And the variety that we have got, we can point out the good features.
Okay, let's move on to our next bullet point. What do we use them for? What's a tent for, other than camping?
Sleeping in.
Yeah, no, these are grow tents. So we are using them to basically create a mini climate and to master that climate without anything outside affecting it. That's what a tent is, to confine all of your heating and lighting and your plants and everything into one area that you can control perfectly.
That was a really good definition, just off the top of your head.
It was all right. The only part is I didn't say perfectly, I said perfect. And it didn't sound right, but, well.
It was a good definition. So, that's exactly what it is. It's your microclimate within a climate.
Yeah.
If it's really cold outside, your tent can be really warm. If it's really warm outside, your tent can be quite cool.
Yeah.
So the main benefits of a tent is putting this all into one area that you can micromanage.
Yeah.
But again, there's alternatives. You could just have a room lined with some silver and do it like that. But tents are by far and large the most popular way for people to go when they want to grow fruit and veg, orchids, whatever it is that you're into. The size ranges of the size ranges of the tents. These usually start at 60 centimetres by 60 centimetres. To be honest, I think we're going to skip over all the different sizes, but it goes from 60 centimetres by 60 centimetres.
80 by 80.
80 by 80.
90 by
squared,
90. 1 metre by 1 metre. 1.2 by 1.2. 2.4 by 1.2. 2 metre by 2 metre.
3 metre by 2 metre.
2.4 by 2.4.
Yeah.
3 metre by 3 metre. 3 metre by 2 metre.
Oh, yeah, 3 metre by 2 metre.
3 by 6 metre.
Which ones are bloody use?
Yeah. Well, basically, you use the one that's right for you. So, depending what size space you've got.
Exactly. Very important point. The amount of times that I've had to steal the IKEA rulers to give to our customers.
Don't tell IKEA everybody. You know those little cheapy rulers, the papery ones? We've borrowed them, haven't we, Stephen?
Permanently.
Yeah, permanently. A big, massive load of them from IKEA. So our customers can measure certain things.
Yeah, the amount of times that they've
No, Rick, not what's down their pants. What's in their room.
You can see the big grin on his face. You know exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but that's an important point, is to save yourself the hassle of going backwards and forwards to the shops. The first things first, measure your flipping room, because it's obviously important. If you've got a room that's 2 metres by 2 metres, don't go and buy the 2.4 by 2.4 tent, for God's sake.
Or even funny, some people, they've got a 2 metre by 2 metre room and they actually buy the 2 metre by 2 metres tent. Oh, I enjoy watching them put them tents together. It really is fun.
We should do something on YouTube for that, shouldn't we? Set up that tent in that room. Do you think price is an important factor within these tents?
Key. It explains a lot about the tent, I think.
Tents, I'll say, are pretty price sensitive. You've got your different types of customers and growers, and some of them are really easy. They will listen to what you're saying, and you'll go into the shops and you guys will listen to what the shop owners have got to say. You're in a perfect position, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to be led into a good tent and you're going to have no problems. The problems start to come when the growers, possibly you guys listening,
ignorant little shits,
and think that you know best,
Yeah.
and you think that the £100 tent off eBay, your 3 metre by 3 metre tent for £100 off eBay, oh well, you're onto a winner there, aren't you?
go and buy it. Fuck off and get out of my face, because I haven't got time to waste me and my team's time talking to you brain dead people. Because if you think that a tent off eBay 3 metre by 3 metre is going to be sufficient, oh my god, you'd end up with 6-inch holes that you'd have to cut with the Stanley blade. So you couldn't send it back even if it had a warranty, because it hasn't anyway, because it's that cheap. The poles will snap, you haven't got a warranty. And the quality of the material, so when you close the tent and you switch your lights on, you can still see the lights because the material's practically see-through. The zips will have already fell off in your hand before you've even got them out the box. Plus, there'll always be a pole missing or something missing. So what you're best off doing is getting a bit of sellotape or duct tape or a bit of hard as nails just ready to box this piece of shite tent together when you pull it out the box.
You don't pull your punches when you're talking about eBay tents, do you?
No, I don't. Because, you know what? Because we had a customer on the phone last night and he absolutely pissed me off, because he phoned us up. He come into the shop and he asked the guys about a tent, and we sell a wide range of tents. We don't push any tents on you. Whatever you want, you can have from our shop. Now, we've got some top of the range set up and we've some bottom of the range. However, whatever tent you get from us, you will get a guarantee, whether it be a budget range. Now, our budget ranges are of good quality. Some of them only have thin poles, plastic corners, but not to worry, because if there is any problems with it, we will replace them parts or components, or if the zips broke, we would replace the tent if need be.
Yeah, and you should find this in the shop that you shop if you're in America, Canada, Australia, or down south in the UK, and you don't shop with us. If you go into a good shop, you'll find that these shops will do this, because they have got integrity and they don't sell shit. And what they do sell, they're willing to put the name behind it, just like we do.
So yeah, I did say that we do have a warranty on budget tents. So our budget range might be £30-40 more dearer than the ones you can find on eBay, but I guarantee you haven't got a year-long guarantee with those. And we at NPK, we always make sure that the customer's happy. So if there was any problems or issues, we would resolve it.
Yeah. So that's the prices sorted. If you are price sensitive, you can still get good budget tents. Please don't be going onto eBay and buying these shite tents.
Whilst we're on prices, I'm just going to go into a little bit more deeper. Yeah. So we have a budget range tent, a 2.4 by 1.2. It's a common size tent. How much is our budget range tent, Stephen?
You get them from us, but depends on, because we do a couple of budgets, 180 to 200.
So between 180 and 220 pounds, and we have about 3 or 4 different variations of budget tent, i.e., plastic corners, metal corners,
and just ones with slightly thicker material as
well. Some have white lining and some have silver lining. But whichever one you get a guarantee with it. Now, I guarantee that other shops who sell these tents will not give you the guarantee with them, because I've checked.
And the more expensive ones, like I'll name them, your BudBoxes, your Secret Jardins, your Mammoth tents, you probably, for a 2.4 by 1.2, you may be looking at prices. Yeah, your Gorilla, between £250 up to £300.
Well, Gorilla is £500.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, actually. Yeah, we've got it in the shop as well.
So we've got a tent in the shop. It's a 2.4 by 1.2. It's a Gorilla tent. It's very high quality. You can see the quality just from the material, the zips, the viewing panels.
Extended from 2 metres to 2.2
Yeah,
metres.
it also has an optional extension, so you can higher the height of the tent. However, that's £500. So a lot of a difference compared to the budget line tent. As I say again, it's down to you, the customer, what you prefer to have.
And we've sort of covered our next point as well, talking about the difference between the cheap tents and the expensive ones.
Yeah.
Now, some of the main differences, you're going to have thinner material, and the expensive ones will have thicker material. Now, I want to expand a little bit on that. When you're talking about thickness of material, you might come across the word denier. Now, denier is how thick the material is. So if you see a number, the denier between 600 to 1,000 is good. You can get tents ranging from 200 to 1,600 denier. The higher the number, the better. It's the thicker material. It's going to last it's the longest, and it shows that they've put a bit of thought into what materials they're using. The thread count is also, the higher the better. Egyptian sheets on your bed, very high thread count. if the tent's got a high thread count, it's a good quality tent.
Yeah, just to let you know, the thread is the stuff that holds all of the tent together. You know, like the zips onto the fabric and the fabric together. And yeah, so that is important. So have a look at the eBay thread count then.
So 600 to 1,000 denier is a good tent, but obviously the higher the better. Try not to go below 600 denier with your tents. You're going to probably pierce them with some of the sharper materials that you can be using in your grow room.
Features. What features can we see in some of these tents? Varying features.
Okay, there's a couple, thinking off the top of my head.
Well, all tents have extraction holes on the roof and around the sides and towards the base.
The better ones will have more extraction holes because they understand that they're not going to dictate to you where you're going to put your extraction. So they will have maybe 4 or 5 on the bottom for your small air in, and they will have maybe 4, 5 or 6 depending on the size.
So you can basically put the tent anywhere position you wanted, and it would be feasible to you put the extraction where the nearest location would be, or whatever, with minimal distance. Where when you get the cheaper tents, you get 1 hole on the top and 1 hole at the bottom.
And you'd be lucky if it's the right size for your ducting.
Yeah.
With drawstrings and the really simple things that you just don't think about when you're getting a good quality tent. You'll be thinking about them if you ever purchase a cheap quality tent. Talking more about the features, there's some new tents. I believe the Homebox was one of the first to do it, where they lifted the bar, the metal bar on the bottom.
Yeah, that's so you can get the cables and cords and other various things.
And if you were using maybe something like an AutoPot system or a multi-flow system or an IWS or Alien, any of these hydroponic systems that are using water pipes and you've got your reservoir outside, really good feature. They've raised the metal bar and that just makes life really easy. So that's another feature to look out for if you're using a system in your tent. Also,
another feature that I like about tents is viewing windows. So basically, a tent with viewing windows allows you to view what's going on inside the tent without tampering with the climate by opening the doors. Because once you open the doors, climate and various things are going to change and you're going to be interfering. So basically, viewing windows, you can just open them up and see what's inside without disturbing the actual grow.
Yeah. And this could be really important maybe in your early stages of veg when high humidity is essential and key. You're not going to go in there and you've spent hours and hours getting your humidity up to 70%. Oh, I'm going to check on my plants. Bang, there goes your humidity down to 40%. So yeah, like you say, viewing windows are really good. Now, pockets within a tent. Yeah. What are your thoughts? Because there's divided opinion on pockets. Some say that they're really good. They hold they hold your equipment. You can put your measuring cups in there, your syringes, anything that you need to get in there. But then there's the other side, which some people say that they don't put these holding pockets within the tent because they can harbour germs, dirt can get inside, and if you're working in a sterile environment or as close to a really clean environment as you can get, the pockets aren't really a good idea. What do you reckon?
Different horses for different courses.
Yeah, that's a great word. We use that quite a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
So that you've summed it up.
Up to you. If you want to have your stuff inside your tent, maybe a bit easier access, space is limited or whatnot, buy a tent with pockets inside. If you're a paranoid person and you think there's all beasties inside the pockets, building little armies to attack your plants, don't buy a tent with pockets in.
Yeah, perfect. Sums it up nicely there. Bags. And not one that you get charged 5p for either. These are high quality carrier bags. The really good ones come in a nice bag, really strong. So if you need to move from location to location, a carrier bag's really, really good piece of kit to have, rather than stuffing it into the little bag.
Don't get not to stuff it back into just the box, and it won't go back in the box anyway.
Good point. So that's something else to bear in mind when you're buying a tent. Lining. There's a point up for debate.
Okay, so we've got 2 different styles of lining. We've got silver and we've got white. Now, we have talked about lining and PAR, photoactive radiation, in the past.
I think it was actually our first podcast.
Yeah, I think it was. Tents was with Foxy, Jay Fox. He was currently at the time representing BudBox, was he? Homebox, sorry. Yeah, and they have the PAR, photoactive radiation.
Which is your white land.
Yeah, is the white tent. Is very reflective. And to be honest, I personally think that the white tents are better than the silver tents because when we switch light on in a PAR tent, a photoactive radiating tent, it's blinding how reflective it is. And the silver ones just don't seem to be as effective. A
little story actually about silver versus white, and this comes from the guys at BudBox, who I met a couple of years ago. I had great conversations with them. Good guys, and they make good quality tents. So I'd like to give a shout out to them because they told me about this little story. People think that because silver tents dominate the market today, that they were actually the first tents to market.
Nope.
White tents are a new commodity that's just come out and it's new technology. It's not correct. In actual fact, white line tents were the first tents to market.
It was the very first tent I had, and it was a home box.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Actually.
nice.
Yeah, and I've still got it to this day.
Yeah,
and it was a
tent.
2 metre square tent.
But nice.
Yeah.
It just goes to show about good quality tents.
And that tent currently is 12 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's seen its days, and I will admit one of the zips are broken on the bottom. However, it's served its purpose.
Yeah, 12 years is a nice testament to the quality of that tent. Sorry, yeah, so the silver and the white was actually out first, and some smart aleck looked at these white tents and thought, my eyes, it doesn't look as though it's reflecting much. Silver looks maybe a bit more reflective to his eyes. And there's a funny thing here. Plants aren't your eyes, and your eyes aren't plants. We take in a really narrow range into our eyes. Plants take up a massive range, and that is the photoactive radiation that the plants take in. Another podcast for another time. But to continue my point, the smart aleck then thought, these are more reflective. We're going to put all of our tents now in silver. And because perhaps sometimes the silver does look more reflective
to our eyes,
they are perceived as better tents. But it's really, in my opinion, because it's an opinion, it's not based on scientific fact or evidence, white tents are better than the silver tents. For
I would actually second that as well. Also,
white tents actually as well, figures from some of the tent manufacturers run between 4 to 6 degrees cooler. That's a fact from BudBox that they gave.
However, there is one speculation on white tents that the cheap versions can give off a harmful gas.
Yeah.
Because the white product in it is basically heating up and evaporating it. There's some sort of emission. With the more expensive ones,
you're not going to get.
You won't get that. They have guarantees against that. So be careful. With a budget white line tent, you could get some offset gas properties coming from the product itself. So it's just some options. We're not telling you which one to get. We're just telling you a few different things about the tent, and you can make up your own decision. Up to you.
So if we wrap up this podcast on tents today,
yeah,
our opinion on them as a product, I love them.
Tents are great. They
contain the environment.
Yeah.
Keep everything nice and sealed in. And if you haven't got the space to dedicate a whole room to growing the plants, a tent's a great option for you.
Also, as well, if you have never done any hydroponics or any indoor growing, you can come along and buy a really small tent that you could sit on your bedside cabinet, and you could grow 2 plants in there very willy-nilly, no energy costs really at all, and as your little hobby, make yourself some nice parsley or whatever, some strawberries, whatever, because what you've got to remember, within a tent and the environment of it, you can grow any produce you want any time of the year. Unfortunately, unlike our allotment friends, they're packing their bags just soon because the winter's coming in and Mother Nature doesn't allow them to grow very much.
Yeah, not in the UK anyway. You guys in Australia, you are just starting your allotment. You're not starting, your allotment season's all bloody year.
Yeah.
Gits.
But as for us at NPK, our year doesn't stop because we grow produce in store all year round because we are Mother Nature and we create our climate.
Yeah, exactly. We just harvested our pumpkins actually from the allotments, haven't we?
Yeah, we did. We got them a little bit early, didn't we?
Yeah.
Still a good size though, aren't they?
Really nice size actually.
Going to get them cut out for Halloween for
October 31st.
Yeah.
A couple more points just to mention that have just sprung into my mind as we're about to leave. We've talked about the massive range of tents. We mentioned them at the beginning. A couple of things that you'll want to consider if you're going to buy a tent. My personal favourite is zips. It's the most important thing within a tent, in my opinion, because if the zip goes, you're bollocksed.
Yeah,
you really are for such a small piece of material and product on a tent. If that falls off, you're knackered. There's no point in having a tent because your light can get out, your environment's screwed. You may as well have just had a room. So really check your zips on the tent that you're buying. And a top tip from me is if your zips sometimes get caught, which they always do, no matter if you get the best quality tents, the zip's going to get caught. Get a pencil and just draw over the zip line and over those little pieces of plastic or metal that bite together. Run your graphite pencil up and down them, and it acts as lubricant. So that'll help your zip move up and down the tent. Little top tip from me there.
Yeah, very good.
Other things you want to consider: thickness of poles. Are you going to be sitting a fan on top of the tent or hanging it from there, as well as your filter and your lights and anything else? Make sure you're getting good thickness poles. 24mm, 25mm poles are the standard for you. The tents with the 24mm poles is you can hang upside down on them if you so wish.
Especially if you're getting a tent 2 metres square or above.
Yeah. What do you like of tents? What should our customers be looking out for? What should our listeners be looking out for?
To be honest, customers, I just personally think there's a different tent for each room, every single one of you, and we'll help you facilitate what need you have, whether it's your budget or you want a good piece of equipment or you just want something to just get you by for now while you get some money to upgrade and stuff like that. Whatever the problems or questions about tents is, we'll help you get to the end of them and we'll help you figure it all out. So that's just my advice on tents. Okay,
thank you very much. Well, that's been our podcast on tents. If you need any more information, you head over to our website, www.npktechnology.co.uk, our Facebook, NPK Technology, the Twitter, which just is NPK Technology again, and we also have the Instagram, NPK Hydroponics, and Thomas is the famous star of our new YouTube channel, NPK Technology. Yeah. So head there if you like to check out the videos. I hope the podcast on tents has been informative and interesting to you guys. Any questions, fire them over, and we'll see you next week when we're talking about growing media.
And we're NPK, and I'm Thomas.
And I'm Stephen.
Thanks for listening.
See you later, guys.